Jackson, featherweights. There's the tail of the tape. 128 pounds for Jackson, 126 1/4 for Elvin Gonzalez. Gonzalez with a 1-inch reach advantage. Their records in the ring: Tyrone Jackson, 23 years of age. He's 2 years a pro. Gonzalez is in his 4th year as a pro and has had 19 fights to 16 for Jackson. You see, Jackson is unbeaten in his 16 bouts, while Gonzalez is 14-5. For the introductions to the ring announcer, Hank Kropinski.
Ladies and gentlemen, change in referee for this contest, Zach Clayton. This bout, 8 rounds. Introducing in the red corner, wearing black trunks with the white trim, he weighs 128 pounds, from Harlem, New York, Tyrone Jackson. And his opponent in the blue corner, wearing white trunks with the black trim, he weighs 126 1/4 pounds. From Vega Alto, Puerto Rico, Elvin Gonzalez. 8 rounds.
Referee for this fight, Zach Clayton, and calls the fighters to the middle of the ring for their instructions. And as we listen to Zach, you do the same.
Let's go, fellas. Come on. Okay, you understand English? Yeah. Okay, just give me a good, clean fight. I'm going to let you fight your fight. Coming out of the clinch, just protect yourself. Kick your hands down, come out fighting the belt and knuckles. Get that mouthpiece in point.
Elvin Gonzalez and Tyrone Jackson, 8 rounds, featherweight bout. Gonzalez 126 1/4. And Tyrone Jackson on the left, 128 pounds, from Harlem, New York. He's had 16 fights. He's won them all, 13 by knockout. Quite a record for 16 fights to have 13 knockouts in the featherweight division.
Yeah, he must be a banger. We'll see very shortly if that's true or not.
This will be 8 rounds. In case you missed it, just completed the Ruben Munoz, Charlie Choo-Choo Brown fight. And if you blinked, you missed it. It only went minute and 32 seconds of the first round. Choo-Choo Brown by a knockout.
Tremendous right-hand power on Choo-Choo Brown. Now here we're back now. We're in this fight. We have the traditional boxing trunks on. They look good, don't they?
Yes, they do. It gets, without belaboring the issue, getting back to Charlie Brown in the lightweight division. You got a number of opponents you can look at. Choo-Choo Brown gearing up for Kenny Bogner, perhaps, or Livingston Bramble, or somewhere down the road, even the man that sits at the top, Ray Mancini.
That's a tough division. He's got a big job ahead of him. You know that. But I firmly believe he can do it because he's got an awful lot of talent. And the thing that we realized tonight that he's always in shape. He's ready to go at any time.
No question about it. The only thing I'm going to do is after tonight, I'm going to go find Choo-Choo and say, look, you know, we prepared more for that fight in homework than we did for any other, and we didn't have to use anything.
That's very true.
This fight, featherweight bout, 8 rounds. Tyrone Jackson in the black trunks and Elvin Gonzalez in the white.
Well, it's starting off very slowly, but you can never tell. Some fights start slowly and wind up pretty fast and hectic, but here we go.
Elvin Gonzalez has a couple of things on his mind in addition to Tyrone Jackson. The fact that Elvin's wife is expecting a baby.
Well, that's a little disconcerting.
Particularly to Mrs. Gonzalez.
That's it. Once you get out.
Round 1 action, scheduled 8-rounder.
Well, they're in the feeling out process right now. There seems to be not too much action, but we'll see what happens here in a moment.
Gonzalez 126 1/4 and Tyrone Jackson at 128. We come to 30 seconds before the end of round 1.
Jackson has good delivery on the inside. He's not just a headhunter. He goes to the inside, then he comes up to the head.
A couple of wild swings. 15 seconds to the end of the first round.
Jackson seems to favor those left and right uppercuts to the midsection.
Last few seconds of round number 1.
And he's hurt.
And he's down.
Hey, over there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Zach Clayton get up to the count of 5, and there's the bell, and that ends that round. And that was really hit. He was hit in the back of the head, but the first 2 punches prior to that really did the damage.
Second round of the scheduled 8-rounder. Gonzalez, here the white trunks. Tyrone Jackson in the black.
Gonzalez seems to have weathered the storm now, and he's a little shy, however. He seems off balance.
Yeah, I was just going to say, ironic. I was just going to say that he threw the punch and he was off balance.
Well, the thing that I see why it makes him off balance is he's entirely too far spread apart with his legs. He ought to kind of shorten up on that spread with his legs, and he'd be better off. He's off balance, as you can see.
Gonzalez
he doesn't want to fight anymore.
And I think he's I don't know what, he's complaining about something. I don't know what, but he's bleeding from the nose.
He's complaining. I don't think he really wants to fight.
Good right hand over the top, and a comeback briefly by Gonzalez.
Come on up there, Gonzalez.
Zach Clayton, the referee, telling Gonzalez to come up.
I tell you, Jackson, he's right in there with the inside body punching.
Good left by Jackson. Another good left. Stuns Gonzalez. Legs a little shaky right now.
And you can tell that because he's backtracking. That was not a bad left hook he threw, though. Maybe he ought to throw a few more of them.
This is the second round. Minute 23 to go in the second round.
Tremendous right uppercut.
Up underneath.
Tremendous right uppercuts by Jackson, and they all scored.
Another left by Jackson. Gonzalez bleeding from the nose.
And a little bite at the mouth also. Instead of backing off just a little bit, he seems to he's craving that action on the inside.
Under a minute to go in the second round. Scheduled 8-rounder.
Jackson's being caught now. I'm sorry. Gonzalez is being caught now by the left and right. His mouthpiece is showing. He's bleeding at the mouth and also at the nose.
Coming up to 20 seconds before the end of the second round. Wild right by Jackson. Gonzalez trying to twist him around and put him in the corner.
Jackson's a better fighter than that. He doesn't really have to go that wild, Howard.
10 seconds to the end of round number 2. This is a scheduled 8-round battle in the featherweight division. Elvin Gonzalez and Tyrone Jackson. Follow Elvin Gonzalez into his corner from Puerto Rico. Came into this bout with a record of 14-5. He turned pro in 1979, 2 years sooner than Tyrone Jackson, his opponent. This is from the middle of round number 2.
And those inside uppercuts has 3 in the row, and they all landed, and that's what started the bleeding in Gonzalez's mouth. And Gonzalez, instead of backing off, he just seems to want to stay in there. His best bet was to be on the outside. Tyrone did a good job of slipping those punches. So far, all of them.
Now in the first round of this bout, Elvin Gonzalez was down on the canvas. Here, more second round action.
Oh, that wasn't a bad combination by Gonzalez. The left uppercut and the right cross did land.
Round number 3 of the scheduled 8-rounder between Elvin Gonzalez in the white trunks, Tyrone Jackson in the black trunks.
Tyrone Jackson seems very calm and deliberate. Gonzalez is backtracking, but delivered a very, very nice jab that connected 2 and 3 of them at a time.
You just tuned our way. The 2 10-rounders on the card tonight ended in opposite fashion. Johnny Verderosa from Staten Island, New York, a unanimous decision over Carlos Amaya in 10 rounds. And in the first round, at 1:32 of the first round, Charlie Choo-Choo Brown registering a knockout over Ruben Munoz.
That was a very, very good side step on the part of Tyrone. He feinted with a left uppercut, stepped to the side, then threw that hook. Very well delivered.
Gonzalez missing with a right. Jackson getting himself out of trouble. He didn't want to be pinned up against the ropes.
I kind of think that Jackson, if he became a little more active, did a little more jabbing, he seems to be shy of action. He's not really going at it. He's got a beautiful jab when he delivers it.
Zach Clayton is the right kind of a referee for this fight between two youngsters.
Jackson was complaining of a low blow there. He tried to get the eye of Zach Clayton, but it really wasn't that low at all.
Gonzalez didn't get the full effects of that last overhead right by Tyrone Jackson.
Gonzalez seems to be coming on now with pretty good jabs.
Under a minute remaining in round number 3 of the scheduled 8-round featherweight bout. Body punch by Tyrone Jackson in the black trunks.
And we could really hear them down here, couldn't we?
Overhead right by Jackson staggers Gonzalez.
That's the same thing that happened earlier, but that overhand right seems to glance off the top of his head, and it seems to just throw his equilibrium off. It throws him off balance.
25 seconds to the end of round 3, scheduled 8-rounder.
Jackson delivers a great right uppercut from that left jab. That combination is a great combination.
Less than 10 seconds to go in the round. This is round 3. 8-round featherweight bout. Elvin Gonzalez and Tyrone Jackson. Now for an analysis of this fight thus far, let's go to Dick Landis.
Okay, Howard, thanks very much. Tyrone Jackson, you are looking at a talent. He is 16-0, not too well known because he's fought mostly in New York. He says he picks his punches. He makes them count. As you noticed, he has a very good right hand. However, the right hand has a tendency to drift. It is a little uncontrolled. If he shortens it up, makes it hit more, makes it score more, he's going to be a devastating fighter. He's got a great, great potential going for him. Gentlemen?
Thanks, Dick.
Well done. Very good, Dick. That's right. I think he can show a lot more. I think he ought to stop moving, though, in this fight. Start showing what you analyze. That's right.
Looking into the corner of one Tyrone Jackson from New York City in the Harlem section of Manhattan, which has over the years bred many outstanding fighters
like Sugar Ray Robinson and many others.
Sugar Ray.
You can stop there.
Yeah,
That's the best.
You go pound for pound, etc., etc. The best of all time in many people's minds and opinions. 4th round action. 8-round featherweight bout. Tyrone Gonzalez, or rather Elvin Gonzalez and Tyrone Jackson. Gonzalez from Deja Alto, Puerto Rico. Boy, am I glad I took Spanish in high school.
You sound good. You sound
close.
Like a Spanish teacher.
Unfortunately, I failed.
Gonzalez seems like at this point in time he's kind of upset, frustrated, whereas Tyrone Jackson looks very calm, cool, and collected.
Tyrone Jackson looks all business out there. Very determined look on his face. Good concentration. Notice every once in a while Zach Clayton walks by the two fighters and gives them some kind of encouragement.
Yeah, he gives them a little pep talk.
Might be Zach Clayton might very well be the fans' referee. He's playing to the crowd. Gonzalez with a good right momentarily. Misses one. Now comes back with a good right.
It seems to me that Jackson, each time he throws that right hand over the right ear of Gonzalez, or the left ear, he seems to hurt him. I don't know what it is, but 3 times he did that. You notice it again.
Quick hands.
I think what he ought to do is perhaps keep that left hand a little higher. Gonzalez ought to keep it a little higher, protecting that side of his head. He seems to have a weakness on that side.
Elvin Gonzalez almost slapping at Tyrone Jackson. 45 seconds to the end of the 4th round of this scheduled 8-round featherweight fight.
Gonzalez seems to have just a little bit of red lump under the right eye. Nothing to be concerned about, but he does have it there.
Good right by Gonzalez that reddens the nose of Tyrone Jackson.
Yeah, but it had really no power at all.
The blood seems to be more in evidence on than under the nose of Elvin Gonzalez. Good left by Gonzalez to the side of the head. 10 seconds to the end of the 4th round. Gonzalez slipping in the corner. That wet spot still exists, apparently.
Yeah, they ought to dry those wet spots.
We follow Elvin Gonzalez back to his corner. In between the 4th and the 5th round. All right, here's some action of the 4th round as you see Gonzalez registering some blows.
Yeah, that was a pretty good shot right over the right ear again of Tyrone Jackson. And Jackson did the right thing, came on the inside and held. Very, very good left hook on the part of Gonzalez. He ought to keep up more of this because it's a long way for him to go and he better start scoring.
Elvin Gonzalez a little bit ready, maybe ready too soon. This is the 5th round of the scheduled 8-rounder in the featherweight division. Elvin Gonzalez and Tyrone Jackson earlier tonight in our co-features. 10-rounders. Johnny Verderosa of New York defeated Carlos Amaya in a unanimous decision. And Charlie Choo-Choo Brown registering a 1st-round knockout over Ruben Munoz.
All right, now we have an awful lot of action on the part of Gonzalez moving to the left and right. And also kind of retreating with Jackson continuing to push the fight. In some parts of the world and the country, they are using a kind of a box, Howard, that they have arranged to slide in the ring so that the water, when poured on the fighters, would enter this box, and then they remove the box at the end of the rounds, which is not a very bad idea because in this particular instance, Zach Clayton went over and asked for some rosin and put the rosin in the corner. There was a little too much in there, and it got on the towel of the fighter, or the trainer using the towel, and Zach very wisely went over and says, don't use the end of that towel because it has rosin on it. And rosin, you know, has a blinding quality.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Of all the fights you refereed, which was the fighter or fighters that gave you the most trouble?
Well, I would say the fighters who give the most trouble are the middle classes, the strong, fast, good, hard punches. The heavyweights are kind of pussycat guys. You tell them to break and they break. But it's the lightweight, welterweight, and middleweight that push on the side, and they're very, very anxious to get in there and get the job done. But heavyweights will listen to all commands, really. True.
We are in the 5th round of the scheduled 8-rounder. Tyrone Jackson in the black trunks. Elvin Gonzalez in the white trunks. Zach Clayton encouraging the 2 fighters to get in there and mix it up a little bit. Less than a minute to go in the round. Good left by Jackson.
Jackson
and a right.
Jackson has 13 KOs to his credit, but I really don't see that spontaneous power of his yet, unless he's waiting to show us later.
It's almost like he stands back and tees off, and Gonzalez
Now Gonzalez is complaining of a shoulder injury. It seems that his left shoulder near the clavicle seems to be hurting, and he's holding it, and it's all over.
Makes good. Stop it. He can't go anymore. He hurt his left arm. Up near the collarbone, you're right.
Really, it was really no point there in counting because he complained immediately. He went down on one knee and he complained about his show, and it could be a broken clavicle.
No, he's hurting. No question about it. 2:33 of the 5th round. That man, Tyrone Jackson, is the winner. His 17th consecutive victory without a defeat.
Yeah,
he can't pick up his left arm.
Yeah,
he's hurting.
He's an awful lot of pain there.
Well, the doctor, Frank Doggart, is over there checking him out.
It's either in the ball and socket joint of the arm or it's in that clavicle, because if we could get a close shot to kind of see how that happened, it would be interesting. All right, there's Tyrone Jackson. Threw a right hand and the left hand and connected.
That was it, right there, just as he threw his left hand.
He threw, yes, Gonzalez threw the left hook, and it didn't kind of land, and it just probably went out of joint, the ball and socket.
And we'll see it again. We'll see him throw that left hook. And you'll see him.
Yeah, I'd like to see it more closely. He threw
right there, right there. He connected with Jackson.
That was the point right there. And you really didn't have to count him out because he was complaining right from the beginning. He turned around, he went down on one knee, and he just couldn't go on anymore.
For the official announcement, to Hank Rapinski.
The time, 2 minutes, 33 seconds of the 5th round. Referee Zach Clayton stops the contest. The winner by a technical knockout, Tyrone Jackson.
Tyrone Jackson is our winner. TKO at 2:33 of the 5th round. Jackson now 17 wins, no defeats. Gonzalez's record drops to 14 wins and 6 defeats.